Today in the crypto space, we see the market getting a bit of a bounce. Bitcoin up approximately 2.5%, Ethereum up approximately 4%, and the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, doing pretty good, led by BNB right now up approximately 11%, and look at S, Sonic doing very well also, and many others, guys, Hyperliquid, Doge, Polkadot, many are getting a few bounces here. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that's been looking pretty good for a push to the upside, and that project is called Hyperliquid. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover in today's on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here, because I feel like the market, Bitcoin, is also looking for a pop right now. We're getting a lot of strength here in the immediate short term. I'm talking about lower time frames. Obviously, the daily is also looking pretty good. Look what BNB is up to right now. BNB did announce, and I made this very clear yesterday during the live stream, that BNB is looking for an upgrade, a major upgrade, providing a lot more utility and features to the BNB chain, which is very, very bullish. And we can see right now BNB is up approximately 11%. And given that BNB is also pumping, for those OGs in the space that remember the original days of meme coins and swapping, you know, all kinds of different coins, PancakeSwap is up almost 40%. Guys, I know PancakeSwap came down quite a bit from its top. I think it was right around $40. But guys, PancakeSwap, you know, has a spot for me. This is where I first started heavily trading, and this is where I made a lot of my gains in the previous cycle. So PancakeSwap, for those OGs, is looking pretty good. Nice little reversal here, a little bit of strength. But what we're really looking for is for, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and of course Ethereum giving us that indication that we're ready to run. We do see that the market cap got a bit of a bounce here. It's still within range, but looking pretty good as long as it holds support. But what's even better here out of all of this is the fact that we're getting some market participation, that we're finally getting a bit of volume. We're in a bit of an uptrend here on this 1 hour fractal. So pretty good. I'm bullish. I like that, at least to get into a bit of a trade here. Maybe we can raise some capital by going long on some positions. Obviously, guys, keep in mind that the long positions are still you know, basically facing a lot of negative pressure. We're looking for bigger pivot point structures. Guys, look at Bakery Swap. Do you remember one of the original NFT marketplaces on BNB on the Binance Smart Chain? Guys, Bakery Swap is up 87%. Guys, interesting. This is definitely a flashback for me, and obviously a bit of PTSD as well, but doing pretty good here for the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem. All right, guys, let's continue going down. We do see some good gainers. Obviously, Tron, remember what I've been saying, when Tron shows strength, we know that, you know, something's happening there, boiling up with USDT, a lot of stables moving around and the transaction rates going up, and Tron becoming profitable suggests that there's something happening, or a lot of active you know, trading and participation there for stable coins. And that's usually a good indication that, you know, there's positions being built and so on and so forth. So I kind of pay attention to Tron from that regard. Chainlink is looking good. Sui is looking good. I think AVAX is also looking good. The market in general right now, I would say, is looking pretty good. We're up approximately 5%, give or take, on the market. I'm keeping an eye on Hyperliquid. Why? Because Hyperliquid is ready to explode. In my opinion, I think that although it is still a large cap, we're talking about $8.2 billion market cap. I get it. It's pretty large. However, if I can make a bit of a trade and, you know, see this thing rise up a little bit more, guys, I am all about that. You know, an easy, for this bull run, I can see Hyperliquid making a nice 5x'er. So why not, you know, start building a position? Why not start trading to raise that capital to increase my Hyperliquid bag? I could definitely trade my way to that, you know, point or to that goal. We see Polkadot waking up here approximately 10%. I'm not big on the Polkadot, ecosystem. It's not something that really interests me, but sure, I celebrate all pumps, guys. All pumps should be celebrated. We're up approximately 9.6% on DOT, which is great for all those parachain projects. That definitely some publicity there for those guys. What else do we got here? BitGet tokens falling. Why? Usually there's an inverse, a very correlative relationship. When we see the market run, we see that exchange tokens do well. There's an opposite effect happening here. That's a bit worrisome to me. Uniswap looking good, and as we keep on going down, we do see a lot of good gainers. Near Protocol, we do see BitTensor showing a bit of strength despite it's down 1%. Who cares? Look at this fractal. It's bullish. It's probably the most bullish fractal that I see here despite today's price action. So you have to understand, maybe it's taking a bit of a break, a bit coffee break, while the rest of the projects here in the market kind of catch up a little bit. We see a few good pumps. Cosmos even is waking up. Filecoin getting a bit of a pump. You guys, we're seeing some good price action here today, despite the earlier on negativity that we've gotten. Obviously, CPI came in a little bit overheated, but it wasn't even that big. The reality, it wasn't even that much. It was only up, above expectation by a little bit. So there's no big deal. And then there was obviously some bullishness coming out of JP. Basically, you know what? The banks are now full on able to get involved with the crypto space, and no discrimination happening whatsoever on blockchain projects and blockchain participants, which is great. Obviously now we can be viable members of the economy, and this is something that we've been wanting for so long. So good stuff, a lot of good stuff, politically, economically, and that we should be looking forward to in the next little while. But definitely good stuff throughout the market. I see a pump, and I'll show you why in a second. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at what's going on here with a Bitcoin. And of course, Bitcoin is a great leading indicator. And today it did give us a lot of motions everywhere, because really we got whipsaw price action, straight up, straight down. Everybody's getting wrecked, longs and shorts on lower time frames. And that's usually when people get shaken out. And that's part of the plan, right? Market makers love shakeouts. They love to see people squirm and ultimately give up their bags so they can buy. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So what I'm saying here is basically what happened the last 3 days. Let's say the last 3 days have been hectic. News has been very, has been causing Bitcoin to really fluctuate, and altcoins, especially in particularly Ethereum. Ethereum has been very, very responsive in reflecting on what's being said in the media, whether it be news, economic news, Donald Trump, this and that. So we have to understand that the markets are still very fragile, fragile, because they're showing the fact that they are responsive. And Bitcoin as well. Although if you look at it, reality is Bitcoin is still at 97,000 right now. We're not that far away from the $100 mark. Things are looking okay as long as we can hold these levels. And why I'm coming out a little bit bullish right now is because I'm a trader, guys. I don't mind trading the 4 hour. I don't mind trading the 1 hour. I really don't get lower than that. Obviously, I do take advantage of opportunities that are lower than the 1 hour, 15 minute, 5 minute, but those are reserved for special days. I'm really looking at swing trades, bigger moves, right? I want to be holding for a couple of days and make nice moves to the upside. What I'm really looking forward to is a nice reversal where we can at least take some profit right here. That would be great. But of course, I'm not trading Bitcoin. I'm trading altcoins. I'm looking for good opportunities. I'm looking at Move. I'm looking at, Hyperliquid. I'm looking at maybe Supra finally finds its bottom, because it looks like it's grinding to find that bottom. As soon as we find a good bottom there, I'm going to be slamming some buy orders. So I'm keeping an eye on it, because Bitcoin ultimately is looking pretty good here. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to get a reversal, but the fact is volatility down here, the way it's reversing to the upside, is looking okay. Maybe we start moving to the upside, and maybe we start seeing a nice expansion. What I would like to see is at least a bounce here on the momentum. Let's see the momentum cross above. Let's get the momentum maybe at about 60%. That would be a good indication of a nice range within momentum, and we see volatility start pushing to the upside. If it happens, great. Momentum, volatility going in the same direction. I appreciate it, but I cannot negate the fact that this momentum is still in a downtrend. So this is why I'm going to be very aggressive with any of the trades. I'm going to be a ninja. I'm going to get in and get out. Take profit, get in and get out. And that's the only way to do it, because the risk you're taking getting into longs right now, you have to assume this risk is that the momentum comes down and gets to this level. However, if volatility pushes up, we have some time. We have time to see volatility push up. We have the time to see momentum push up. We have the time to see this come back down. We have the time maybe to see this come back down and then come down oversold. But this is the reality of the daily. How does this translate into the 4-hour? So the 4-hour is a time frame that I'm more interested in right now, because at least I can get active trading and obviously raise some capital, you know, taking a bit of profits here and there. The daily is looking okay with regards to trend oscillator. However, we can see that we didn't get an EMA cross yet. So that's another indication to me that we got to be very careful with our trades, because lower time frame trades need to be respected on that time frame. You get in on the 4-hour, you get out on the 4-hour. So as we are currently seeing, the daily is still not super bullish, but it's still looking okay. What I really would like to see is a daily candle close above or encompassing the previous red candle. That would be a bullish engulfing candle, and that would be a really a good strong sign that we're ready to reverse and move to the upside. So keep that in mind. Now let's jump right onto the 4-hour real quick and see what's going on here with Bitcoin on the lower time frames, because ultimately, if we do see Bitcoin show strength, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to start to see some of the altcoins run up with Bitcoin. It may be that maybe in the short term they may not keep up with Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin dominance continues rising, but you know, on average, we will see some really good bullish projects run alongside Bitcoin, and in fact, even outperform Bitcoin, because right now people might consider front running this price action. Altcoin season is bound to happen eventually. And as we keep on seeing bullish indications, you know, encompassing candles, good bullish reversals, you know, momentum shifts and all this kind of stuff, we are willing to take a bit of risk, you know, to basically catch a nice continuation, a nice break of structure. We have been seeing a nice support zone right here, and of course a lot of the volatility stemmed from news and all of that, CPI, you know, the inflation, and then you know the interest rates, this and that, and obviously the tariffs, and you know all this kind of news. And ultimately what we are seeing is that volatility. However, guys, if we can start pivoting to the upside, making higher highs and higher lows, maybe this becomes that round and bottom. Maybe this becomes that V recovery round and bottom that we're looking for. So in the immediate short term, yes, the wick did look bad in the last on this 4-hour candle, but at least it closed the way we wanted it to, and the volatility is explainable. It's not random. At least we know it was a news event that caused it. You can see that the momentum is still in the chop zone, so for me that's pretty good. Let me get rid of some of this artwork here, and you can see that you know, essentially we're stuck in the chop zone. So I'm expecting also very stable price action right into this level, as long as you know, there's no more news and no more executive orders or announcements that cause economic volatility. So I'm pretty secure and pretty safe that this range is being respected based on momentum being stuck in the chop zone. I'm expecting a nice little breakout out of this level eventually, and let's see what happens. Obviously keeping in mind risk to reward. And then obviously we do see something that's super interesting right here with the trend oscillator. We're getting a green little histogram bar. We got a nice EMA cross, and we're seeing a trend of the EMAs slowly getting into the bullish control zone. This is what's getting me interested. Okay, guys. So no trade is perfect. It's all about probability. And you can see that we got oversold. The momentum is trending to the upside. The expansions are getting weaker and weaker and weaker as the price action is falling. We retraced very nice after a V recovery, came down approximately, I would say, down to the golden pocket, and holding stable about 50% of the way, which means that we're due for a potential pivot, or at least an attempt of a pivot, where we break out and then we start to look for sustainability of the breakout. The reality is the major resistance zone is at about 102, which is the neckline of this Adam and Eve structure, the breakout zone of the Adam and Eve structure. If we get to this level, guys, we still didn't even enter a breakout trade. The reality is this is the breakout zone. This is the accumulation zone for this rounded bottom that eventually brings us to the top of the zone, where is the breakout zone of the Adam and Eve. So guys, we're early. We're trying to get in early and trying to accumulate bottoms, and this would be the breakout zone where you start running into resistance. So keep that in mind. Now, if like I said, if Bitcoin does well and the markets start to do well, what is going to happen to the altcoins? Let's take a look at Hyperliquid. Now, Hyperliquid at the end of the day has been showing its own strength. Let me quickly get onto the daily. Let me quickly get rid of the oscillators, and let's look at pure price action. At the end of the day, this is looking good. We're making higher highs and higher lows, no doubt about it. It is a trend so far. We came down really nicely, obviously clean, very clean, and now we're retracing. The bears are going to have one thesis, and their thesis is that this is going to be basically a retracement where we're going to get another continuation and come down for a lower low. Is that possible? 100% possible. Okay, let's prepare for that. What does that look like, right? Swing low to swing high. We come down to the 1.27 extension. Why not? $15, 1.618 extension, $12. Bearish case scenario. Invalidation of this thesis, obviously big picture here on the daily, is breaking below this low. Out. However, guys, if you happen to get into entries such as these ones or these ones like I did, guys, these scenarios right now are looking pretty good also because really we're looking for breaks. We're looking for reversals. We're looking at rounded bottoms here. We're looking at support at golden pockets. We're looking at, point of control zones being supported. We're looking at expansions out of the major accumulation zone. As can be seen, we're making higher highs and higher lows, which means that supply is outperforming demand all throughout this range. And why do you think demand is outperforming supply? Because people are demanding it, people are accumulating it, and they're not selling it. So supply is low. So what really we could expect is either continue, but more importantly, to get out of this range. You see this range right here? Let me get a couple horizontal lines in here so you can see this a bit better. You see here, $28, lots of volume below. Let me just make this a bit thinner so we don't clutter up the chart even further. You see what we got here. You know what? In fact, what I'm going to do, this is a big volume gap right into here. It actually gets weaker in this spot. And what I'm going to do just to highlight the importance of this volume gap or this general area is double down on the square box. I'm going to show you what I usually do, and I'm going to change this to red so that you can see my strategy on how I kind of make sense of the charts. You can see because it's weaker, this is actually darker, and this is also dark, which kind of gives me the impression that there is weakness here. And you can see that we break above $28, we have a lot of empty space to cause a move to the upside, and the next level of resistance is the previous tweezer top, which has a bit more volume than this volume gap, but still doesn't have a lot of volume. It's a very psychological level because it's a top, so we could expect a bit of resistance here. But you know what, guys? If you got entries and you're looking for entries, you can see that right now Hype is looking for continuation to the upside. It looks pretty good. Now, from a bearish case scenario, you also have to look for the support zone. Yes, I did this as invalidation, but the real volume kind of tapers in or diminishes significantly right around this level. And I would say the reason why I'm going to choose this zone is because it's very confluent with these bottoms, excluding the wicks, right? So what we're really focusing on is this range. And let me just highlight this range just a little bit with my pen tool, just to kind of give you an idea that this range right here is defining the accumulation. It's defining what the goons are doing. These goons are accumulating right here in anticipation for a breakout and a major expansion. Expansions are basically followed after an accumulation. So we accumulate, individuals accumulate, they build big positions, bullish bids are placed and accumulated, and then all of a sudden we start looking for an expansion. And then after the expansion is the decision-making time. Is this a failed breakout, or is it a sustainable breakout? A sustainable breakout will be one of which consolidates after, and it doesn't retrace all the way back to the breakout zone, right? That would be a huge sell-off. This was an induced pump, and it failed, and it failed, and it came right back down. Ideally, we expand and we consolidate, or even retrace would be fine too, because you got to expect maybe a bit of profit taking. That's totally healthy. A 0.382 retracement for profit taking is acceptable. Okay, so this is what I would love to see, and obviously leaving a volume gap below, and then obviously at this zone, at this time, people are going to be like, oh, I should have bought the dip here, or I should have accumulated here, and now I'm looking for entries, and because you see the bullish price action, and then all of a sudden, the reality is you're starting to play this structure and looking for entries right within this structure, and the only place you can put a stop loss is here, because the reality is it already left the station. So you get my point. Accumulation ranges are a perfect times to take a bit of risk. I'm not saying go all in. That what I'm saying is ask yourself, what are these people doing? They are accumulating. Good volume, you can't deny it. Very clear, good volume, and within all of this, these goons are accumulating. Okay, so let's look at lower time frames. Let's get rid of some of this artwork here, just to keep the chart nice and clean. And before we go on lower time frames, let's take a look at oscillator, just to say we're at the golden pocket. Okay, that's that extension level, all good. Momentum is an uptrend. I like that. That's what I want. Momentum is an uptrend. Obviously, in the daily, getting oversold is the best scenario, but you can't deny Hype has been looking great. Okay, so even in the bearish scenario, which is this expansion to the downside, we were still diverging. Momentum is shifting to the upside, slow and steadily. And as we see on the daily, the volatility is now pushing upwards. Look at every time the volatility pushed up. So this is pushing up, this pushed up, this pushed up. Every time it pushes up, we get nice bounces. Bounce, bounce. Maybe we go for another bounce. Maybe we end up hitting resistance again, or maybe we start breaking out and hitting this zone. What I'm trying to say is the entries right now are decent, and the pullbacks, any pullbacks right now, might be a good opportunity to accumulate, understanding your invalidation. Now, even on the daily here, invalidation is very deep. If you start measuring our current price down to invalidation, which is all the way down here, taking a 26% dip, guys, you got to understand that spots only in that from that perspective. Right? Because a 26% dip, even at 4x, will get you liquidated if we come back down to range lows, which we have to entertain the possibility. However, again, more bullishness, guys. Look at this oscillator. EMA is facing up, green histogram bar. Yes, we got a blue expansion, but remember, these oscillators are lagging. So it's going to take some time for these oscillators to register the bullish price action. So in the meantime, we got what we got, which is a nice reversal. It looks like a duck face. We're definitely EMAs facing up, green histogram bars, bullish. Daily is looking okay. So this is what I like to see: rounded bottoms, clear invalidations, clear breaks, trying to accumulate the bottom with accumulation based on market participation. A lot of good signals. The 4 hour looking good as well. Nice sideways price action. You can see that nice accumulation zones. We are definitely pushing to higher highs and higher lows here even on the lower time frames. If we start breaking diagonals, then we're looking for a break of trend right into here, which is good. Break trend. We break this top, we break this top, we hunt liquidity after every little top. We squeeze, and then we keep on going for the major squeeze right through this empty volume gap above $28. Keep in mind, now again, more bullishness, guys. The trend oscillator is not that bullish, I'll admit it. Sorry, the momentum oscillator. Let's kind of zoom in here to kind of look at it a bit. You can see that this is volatility is already pushing up. Do we finally get overbought here on the momentum? Purple line getting overbought. Do we finally do that? We haven't gotten overbought or oversold on the 4 hour in a long time. And if you look at the price action, it's justifiable. We understand. It's really, hype hasn't really moved. It hasn't really expanded. It's still in an accumulation zone. It's still where all the goons are accumulating, right? And look at the price action. It's basically not getting overbought or oversold. If the price has already expanded, we would have already be in overbought conditions. We're not in overbought conditions, or even expanded to the downside. We're not in oversold conditions. So we have to anticipate eventually we will go visit those conditions. And as we speak, we see volatility pushing overbought conditions. It's going to enter the oversold above 70 very, very soon, and we're in an uptrend. V recovery, rounded bottom. We're also seeing it on momentum. Interesting. I appreciate it. I will take risk here because of this. All right, so keep on going. You're not going to find perfect setups, but when you see setups that have potential, you have to take them, guys, or else you're never going to make a move. You miss all the shots you don't take. Okay, just understand that's a very famous quote by Wayne Gretzky, and it's a very, very valid. EMA's facing up, green histogram bars to the upside, looking pretty good. We're entering the bullish control zone. Think about every time we went into the bullish control zone, we got expansions. Guys, we're possibly due for a nice expansion here, even on the lower time frames. Now, you can see that there's a bit of consolidation. Look at the expansions, right? These expansions are showing you that ultimately maybe we're looking for a breakout very soon, because as consolidation suggests, the volatility contracts. And then eventually, as we consolidate, we contract, and then we expand. And that's why I like looking at expansions, because expansions tell me that after contractions, we're going to go for an impulse. We're going to go for a big move. And you can see clearly that the expansions right here, or these expansions on lower time frames, are consolidating for a continuation of another expansion phase, which is this volatility. We want volatility, guys, right? Without volatility, we can't trade. And I'm expecting a bit of volatility here, especially as we've been contracting and being so quiet here for the last little while in an accumulation range. And we have to understand that although I am super bullish right now, and I'm pretty bullish on this chart, what we have to understand is that the possibility of coming down is still very valid. Okay, so again, where are you going to put your stop loss, guys? You got to be very careful here, because the only place to put it is on the lower time frames, and put it like right around here, and understand that liquidity hunts could happen, and that we could come down and sweep the lows and prepare. The reality reality is you need to be prepared for a few losses before you can get into a win streak. And the only individuals that become profitable are the ones that can sustain themselves during a drawdown, which is a shift of multiple losses and then eventually winning multiple wins that outperform your losses. That's what a profitable trader can prepare for. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. EST talking about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.